which is quite interesting. The numbers might have improved, but what the person at home is getting hasn't improved.
Okay.
And that's been the experience of many people.
Okay.
But do we understand what, for instance, it might take to get our electricity sector fixed?
When you say the we, okay, so I'm speaking on behalf of the average Nigerian. The average Nigerian doesn't care what it takes. Just do it, okay? So what it takes then is for the leadership to say, okay, this is what it takes. This is how long it's going to take. This is how much money we need. This is the resources we need. And also responsibility on the part of Nigerians. There used to be the problem of Nigerians vandalizing all kinds of stuff because they want to take the pipes, the wires, the whatever, and turn into spoons and other things. So again, back to the messaging. How do you get Nigerians to understand what the problems are if you decide to put yourself in some kind of ivory tower? Which is funny saying that since I'm a teacher. But the point is that when you are reclusive, when you don't communicate with the people, when you're not, the people don't know who you are, they don't know what you're going through. They need to understand that. And I mean, Nigerians 2 years ago, they went out, they voted. I mean, one way or the other, they voted for a new government because they believed that there was hope for change. So Nigerians are not, even those who are opposed to in the opposition, they are not opposed to Nigeria's progress.
Okay. It appears that the different perspective, mixed bag for a number of people, and some of them predicated on three key things. They talk about the economy, they talk about security, and the fight against corruption.
Okay.
Is the messaging the same in terms of, say, security, for instance? Okay.
Security, that's an area, depending on what part of the country you're in. Security has improved.
Fight against terrorism.
Yes. Okay, let me qualify that slightly. I just finished spending a semester on sabbatical at the American University of Nigeria in Yola. And of course, that part of the country is kind of the, in quote, hotbed of terrorism. And before I went there, there were warnings, don't go there, But anyway, I went there, and the only thing that I suffered was food poisoning. No fault of anybody, I must add. But the thing is that people can move around, so there's relative safety there, relative security there. There's still incidents of, things here and there. So again, if you're in the northeast part of the country, you can say, okay, maybe things are a little bit better now than they were previously. But then that also opens up another line of conversation. What happened? What has created that kind of a peace, relative peace right now? And if you are a pro-Buhari person, you'll say, okay, he's coming, he's putting a lot of resources, and he's a strong man, and people respect him there, and all of that. If you are anti the Buhari administration, you'll also come up with different kinds of explanations why there's that relative peace. So in terms of security, I think generally one can say, and then in the southeast, the incidence of kidnapping has also reduced slightly. At least I've not been kidnapped, thank God. But generally we can say there's a little bit of the tension, the tension that we felt 3, 4, 5 years ago has reduced a little bit as far as that's concerned. Then the economy, all right, okay. So we can say in the last the problem in Nigeria is that when things go up, they don't ever come down. Okay, so it depends on where you are. I understand now that the prices of commodities have come down. Could it be because it's the rainy season? Could it be because it's, things that we planted in January, February have started? We have a lot of fruits going on now. Could it be that? Or could it be some of the policies that have been put in place to make sure that there's enough food? Again, I'm still talking bread and butter, right? I'm speaking for the average Nigerian right now.
Because really that's where it affects people.
Exactly.
It's about their standard of living. But looking at our engagement with democracy so far, would you say that we're maturing?
I think so. I think we are. The fact that Nigerians can come here and speak and, speak their mind about whatever they think about the government. I can say, well, this is what I think the Buhari administration has done or not done, without any fear that as I walk out of this studio, some people are going to be out there, you know. So there's that freedom of, again, everything's relative, but it's still better than different eras in this country. And so Nigerians now know they have the power to change the government. And I've been speaking with a few people since I came in 2 days ago. And it's like a lot of people are just gearing up for 2019. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, we did it once, we can do it again. So I think democracy is maturing in the sense that Nigerians know they have the power, that they can change things too. And maybe we'll just continue changing until we get to a point where people are a little bit more comfortable. Of course, there's no perfect situation. Even in the best of democracies, which would be the U.S., you know what's going on right now. So we'll never get to that that point where it's like, okay, we're now okay. Because for democracy to thrive, there has to be that constant desire, that constant discontent with the status quo, the desire to continually improve.
What about corruption? Let's talk about corruption. And,
all right.
When the president came into office, the first thing he said that it's either you kill corruption, or as a matter of fact, he used that for his campaign. It's either you kill corruption or corruption will kill Nigeria.
Okay.
And at some point when he got in, and then he had to spend some time to try to get the right people, predicating that still on, I must get people who are not corrupt for my cabinet. How do you think corruption has played out since then to this time? Have we had less corruption happening in the system?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, I know the fight against corruption has seemed to be the major preoccupation, and you know.
Let me ask something. Sorry to interrupt your answer, but how would you know if corruption is actually being fought? What indices would you be looking for?
Okay, I'm looking at all the stuff you also see on newspaper pages, the bundles of money that amounts of money I never even knew existed, you know. So just that them, you know, finding people who are hiding money physically or, you know, digitally and all of that. So you can say, okay, that's going on. And then as I go about I did research kind of evaluating how federal government ministries and some parastatals, some here in Abuja, are using e-governance, are using ICTs in the administrative practices. So I've kind of marked time all over the ministries here in Abuja, and everywhere I go, it's like, because I don't know if it's just photo trick, but there's this kind of this poverty there. It's like, oh, there's no money for this. Everybody's complaining about money. Yesterday was an event, and even the permanent secretary of a ministry was kind of appealing to the private sector to bring money. He said, you know what, you can't ask an anemic person to bring blood. That's what he said. So it's like, and people are really cautious about how they spend. I attended a seminar, a conference here in November here in Abuja, and they didn't have I've attended the conference many times before. They would give backpacks and everything, you know, all the bells and whistles, and they said no, that there's and they can't even print the program in colors. The program conference program is black and white. So they said there's a new guideline now that you don't do all of those things for conferences. This was a government-sponsored conference. So there are all these little things that you hear all over, little efforts, and in some maybe big efforts as well, to try and reduce how much money government spends and to close the loopholes.
Let's end with your impression about the economy.
Okay.
What do you think of it?
Well, you're asking the wrong person in the sense that when I come with my $1, I get a little bit, you know, more there. And so right now, as somebody who comes in with that $1, I'm thinking, oh gosh, it's $3.67. When I came in February, it was $5.15. So for me, it's like, I want it to go to $5.15. But I understand that when it's $3.67, it's good for the economy. The only problem is that, does it affect the cost of living? Okay, so generally, again, I don't earn money in Nigeria, and I don't live long enough to get to that point where I have to worry about what to eat or how to, you know. So, but from the look of things, and again, the kinds of people I meet, like yourselves, are people who don't have to worry about how to eat. So, but generally, you know, what I see is that there's a little bit of, you know, movement in the right direction, positively. Again, looking at the people that I come across, but also know, on the other hand, that a lot of people are still suffering. So what does that mean for the economy? I am a critical theorist, so I don't look at the statistics, I don't look at numbers. I look at how the numbers translate into real life experiences of people. And so I go to the village and I see how people are thriving. And I know a lot of people are doing well, but then it also depends on what they're doing. And so generally, I think the economy is stabilizing. But again, speaking from my perspective as somebody, as a just parachute in and then, you know, I get out as soon as I can.
We appreciate your coming in today, Professor Patience Akpan-Obong of the Arizona State University. We'll be back in just a moment. Join us again.